joined by Julia Cohen. She's the Youth Mental Health Coordinator at Jewish Family Services. Julia, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Julia, could you first start off with telling us a little bit about the event coming up in collaboration with the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce? It's going to be happening on February 24th with the Women's Inspiration Network.
Yes, we are so excited to be partnering with the Chamber of Commerce during Eating Disorder Awareness Week, which is next week from February 21st through February 27th. And so we will be hosting an event with the Women's Inspiration Network on Thursday morning at 8:30. Just being able to provide some information, some education and training around eating disorders to this group. So we're very excited to be able to partner.
Julia, could you talk about some of the speakers and the topics? Obviously, it's going to be about disordered eating, but could you go a little bit in depth about what one would get at the event there?
Yes, so myself and one of our community partners, Marcy Forta, will be speaking with the group, and topics will include eating disorder statistics, the costs and consequences of eating disorders, disordered eating versus eating disorders, what eating disorders really are, what someone who is struggling with an eating disorder may experience, some of the risks, signs, and symptoms, as well as kind of a discussion around diet culture, intuitive eating, and the health at every size movement.
And then, Julia, how important is it to be talking about these tough topics, such as disordered eating in our community?
Yeah, so it is very important. The statistics are pretty daunting and alarming. Recent statistics show that as many as 28.8 million Americans, or 9% of the population, experience an eating disorder at some point in their lives. 2/3 of those are women. And additionally, every 52 minutes, someone dies as a direct result of an eating disorder. And I think especially looking at the pandemic, some of it is anecdotal and some of it is some data, but that there is an increase in the prevalence of eating disorders during the COVID-19 pandemic. So it's important now more than ever.
And Julia, at Jewish Family Services, you are the Youth Mental Health Coordinator there. How does that position play a role in the talk next week about disordered eating?
Yeah, so I oversee our community-wide youth mental health initiative called We Need to Talk. And so the event on Thursday with the Chamber of Commerce is just one of 3 events that we are hosting for the community next week. We have another one on Tuesday at 7 p.m., which is geared more towards the teens and young adults in our community. It's with, her name is Victoria Garrick. She's a podcaster, social media influencer, nonprofit founder, and she speaks a lot about body image and disordered eating. So we're really excited to have her. And then we have 2 eating disorder specialists from the University of Michigan joining us on Thursday evening to provide a talk for parents and youth professionals. So really just doing all that we can during this week between these 3 events to raise awareness and being able to talk about this topic.
And as your position as Youth Mental Health Coordinator, do you see people come in and talk to you about how their disordered eating or eating disorders can play a role in their mental health, and how do you either deal with that or give them advice to deal with those problems that they may be facing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing that we are trying to do with this initiative is reducing stigma so that, people who are struggling feel comfortable to come forward and ask for help. And once they do, we really want to make sure we're connecting them with people who specialize in the area of eating disorders. So we are also very fortunate at JFS that we recently received a year-long grant from the Jewish Women's Foundation. And this is allowing us to do even more outreach, awareness, and training for clinical staff so that there's a little bit more specialization in eating disorders and that we can do more work around this area over the next year.
Julia, if someone was interested in either registering for the Women Inspiration Network event on Thursday, or if they want to get involved with these other events that you guys have next week, how can one go about doing so and reaching out to get registered for those events?
Yeah, so the event on Thursday morning with the Chamber of Commerce, to register, they can email it's the West Bloomfield Commerce email, wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com. And it will also be available for viewing afterwards on Facebook. And then for the other 2 events, you can register. It's jlive, JLIVE.app, so jlive.app, and both of those events are on there. And if you want to learn more about these events or just the work that we're doing, you can get more information at www.wn2t for we need to talk.org.
And Julia, are these events virtual or will they be in person?
Yes, so they will be virtual via Zoom.
Awesome. And then as we wrap up here, is there anything else you want to share either about those events happening next week or anything you do as the youth mental health coordinator at JFS?
So really, like I mentioned, yeah, we are really doing a lot of work around raising awareness, reducing stigma, providing, different mental health related trainings, suicide prevention trainings. So we are always looking, our events are free and open to everyone. So we welcome everyone to get involved, to join us for any of those trainings or community events. We know that youth are really struggling, and the pandemic has really raised the awareness of what's going on in terms of the youth mental health crisis. So we're kind of a call to action for everyone to get involved and join us in this work.
Well, Julia, thanks so much for coming on and talking to us today and this morning.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.